Hello and welcome to the Unlucky Podcast. And today we're just going to be talking about my YouTube video that was released Friday. If you haven't watched it already, I suggest you do. I know a lot of you already have, and I've gotten a lot of good feedback from it. But the way I kind of set it up is at first I did kind of a vlog style thing, and then more or less just made a compilation of all the videos I was able to obtain of me and my friends, or anything that included me, of the last decade, but really like the last 2 years. But we will get into it more. If you haven't watched it, the name of it is I Drove 8 Hours to Slap My Friend in the Face. So go watch that now. It's only like 6 minutes long, so watch that, come back, listen to the episode, because now we are going to get on with the show. Okay, so I guess I should start in the beginning. And really this whole idea kind of started because I saw that Miami was playing the Pacers, and I said, Ryan, dude, this is gonna be dope. Miami's doing really good this year. We gotta go see this game. And Ryan was like, fuck yeah, let's go see it. I'll drive up there and we can go watch the game. So, eventually that happened. And okay, so if you start hearing noises and stuff, it's because I'm recording this episode in my vehicle, just because circumstances make it that way. But whatever, I'm gonna try and keep it as quiet as possible in here so that the video doesn't sound bad. But I know there's some stuff at the beginning, but whatever. Yeah, back to the story. Okay, so he comes down and we're getting ready to go to the hotel. We have to move the cars all around because where we live, and in more or less every town that's like this, the driveways are fucking tiny as shit. So if you have a lot of people there, or a lot of people that just drive in general, or a lot of cars, they're filling up not only the driveway, but the street and all kinds of shit around it. But yeah, so we maneuver the cars and we get ready to go. And, we get to the hotel, try to get checked in, but me and Ryan are both too dumb to figure out how to work the fucking, like, the card lock that they have on there. So we used one set and it didn't work. So we go down and we tell, the person at the front desk, hey, this card didn't work, can we get some more? He gives us some more. We go back up there, try it again. It didn't work. And we're like, dude, maybe you should just come up here and try this shit so we don't have to walk all the way back down. And he was like, okay, come on. And he went up there and he tried it with his special fucking little card and got in. He was like, well, I don't know what the problem is, but we'll give you guys another room. Okay, cool. We got another room. Got in there, no problem. And the game started at maybe 7, I believe. And this was probably like 4 or 5 o'clock. And honestly, that wasn't early enough for me, because as it's going to become evident throughout this whole story, like, I like being early to places, and if I'm not already there and I have someplace to be, I'm going to be freaking out about it until I am there. You know what I mean? Like, it just sit there and it's like, man, I don't want to be late. What if traffic fucks up? What if there's a wreck? What if? And then I get there 30 minutes early and I'm like, shit, what am I supposed to do now? But, we get to the hotel early. We go and get some food and shit and relax. And then it's time to go to the game. So we get a ride, we go to the game, and it's like 6:20. We get there and the seats are, they're pretty good. They're not the best, but they're not worse. They're good enough to where we can see everything clearly that's happening on the court. And we get there so early because of me that nobody's sitting around us. There's just like the drum line, maybe not right beside of us, but pretty close enough to where you can hear them the whole time. And that was kind of a good and bad thing, because it kept up with like the tempo of the game, but it also just fucking drowned out everything. And yeah, so we're sitting there waiting for the game to begin, and they do the thing where they bring out the troops and the kids and everybody, all do all that stuff. And then one dance group comes up, and then the cheerleaders come up, and then another dance group comes up, and it's like, holy shit, how many dancers do they have back there? I thought this was a basketball game. So then tip off finally happens, and more or less from the get go, Miami is just kicking their asses all throughout the game, and I'm fucking loving it. Trying to stay a little bit quiet because I am surrounded by Pacers fans, but at the same time, wanting to rep my team and sitting there like screaming, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, just having a good time. And then they bring out this fucking shirt cannon. And I mean, it is a fucking cannon. Not one of those little hand cannons that is just like, boom, woo, one little shirt flying. No. This is like an industrial fan sized revolver with like 12 shirt slots, and it just sits there and it's like, do, 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 just fucking flying them out like 40, 50 miles an hour. And people are just sitting there with their hands up like, don't kill me. Don't kill me. And yeah, so they went flying all over around us. I didn't really care to grab one because, fuck the Pacers or whatever. And then we was sitting there, and it was getting to the point to where it was like, okay, this game is more or less done in like the third quarter, but I want to stay and I want to keep watching it because it's my team and stuff, And they say something on the big screen, and then these bags start parachuting from the fucking rafters. And I wasn't paying no attention. I was watching the game. I was like, what the fuck? And I start looking around, and Ryan's like, man, they're donuts. And he's reaching for them just because that dude's ready to eat anything at any time. Somebody says food, especially when it's flying down in this cool little parachute, he's going to fucking like try and snatch that shit up. So him being like 6'3" and having arms that make him like 9 foot, he fucking reached up there and grabbed him one and scarfed down his donut in like 2 seconds. And then the game got pretty interesting because this guy, if you didn't watch it or don't really know basketball, this guy whose name is TJ Warren, on a play where Jimmy Butler was coming into the paint, he kind of grabbed his arm and it looked like he kind of threw it a little bit. And he might have said something, I don't know. But Jimmy Butler took big offense to it and got up in his face and did what NBA players do nowadays and almost kiss. And then they, say some more words and they both get a tech. At this point, I'm already loving it. Like, this is fucking great for me. I'm sitting there screaming like, fuck yeah, go Jimmy Butler. And all the people around me is sitting there just screaming, fuck Jimmy Butler. Like, he sucks. And then like 2 minutes later, they get into it again. And it looked like something, honestly, that Jimmy Butler started. But then the other guy got kicked out of the game. And I'm sitting there just dying, sitting there telling the TJ Warren guy, I'm just sitting there in the stands going, bye, bye, see ya, fucking bye. And Ryan's looking at me like, dude, shut the fuck up. You are going to get our ass beat. And, I didn't care. I was sitting there like, fuck yeah, Jimmy Butler, go. Get that motherfucker. Yeah. And, nothing did end up happening because everybody was just trying to have a good time too. And that's what I love, when everybody's just, just trying to have a good time, not trying to fuck up nobody else's vibe, just having a good time. And then fourth quarter comes. There's like 3 minutes left and they're up by like 30. So we're like, fuck it, let's dip. This game is over. And we start walking around in downtown Indianapolis. And it's honestly pretty boring. Like, there's not a whole lot to do compared to other places. So after like 15 minutes and not being able to feel our hands, we decided to just get a lift and fucking head out, head back to the hotel. And while we're doing that, I look over and I see this just nice ass Lamborghini sitting there just parked on the side of the road. And I'm not really a car guy, but if I see a nice ass car, I just have to admire it. Like, hey, that's fucking nice, So I go over and I look at it and I tell Ryan just jokingly like, hey, take a picture of it with me, or with me of it. You know, what the fuck ever I'm trying to say. Just for the clout. And he's like, haha, yeah. And then these two guys that look like they're probably like at least 35 walk up to us and they're like, oh, you want a picture with it? And I was like, oh, haha, yeah, it's a nice car. You know, just carrying on the conversation that I didn't want to really be in. He was like, yeah, it's a real nice car. It's expensive. I was like, oh, yeah, is it yours? He said, no. I sat there and I stopped and I looked at him for a second like, this motherfucker is going to come up and just talk to me, asking me if I want a picture. And like asking, like just getting up in my business with something that's not even his. Like, I get he wants to talk to me, but who the fuck are you? You know? And then he just continues to talk to me about some shit that I don't care about at all. But I'm sitting there being polite because, you know, that's who I try to be. Even though I don't want to be in a situation, I ain't going to be rude to a motherfucker just because it's inconvenient to me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should do that more, but I don't know. I'm pretty blunt in areas anyway, so I might as well just fucking leave it at that. Then we get another ride back. Then we, got back to the hotel and just fucked around for a little bit. Ended up eating a lot, way too much, and watched another game and had more or less a pretty boring night overall. But like the game just kind of topped it off, and we had more or less done confirmed that we had a fucking long drive the next day. So we passed out, and let's see, we woke up, and you got to check out of hotels at 11. So we was up, and I was sitting there trying to wake Ryan up because he was doing the same thing, like, oh, we'll get out of here, it's fine. And I was sitting there like, we gotta go, packing everything up and shit. But we got out, and then we came back to my house to pick up Ryan's car. And, we was ready to go, had everything packed. I had already shot the little beginning video for the vlog, and Ryan tries to start his car. It goes, run, 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 run. And we both just get out of our vehicles and just say, fuck. But then he was like, don't worry, I know what it is. I just gotta wiggle this little thing that's connected to the battery, and we'll be good to go. So we did that, and still ran. So he sat there and just more or less started shaking the fuck out of the whole battery. Tried to start it again. Same thing. And he was like, well, do you have any jumper cables? Yeah, I got some jumper cables. Hooked it up. Waited like 15 minutes. Didn't work. Then he was like, well, do you have any different jumper cables that we can hook it up to, and we'll hook it up to another car? And I was like, yeah, we can do that too. So then he backs out of the driveway, and the way that the driveway is here, it's a small driveway that goes straight into the road, and there's no like in between. There's a little sidewalk, and then that's it. So he's sitting there in between of the sidewalk, and I pull my car up onto the sidewalk. We hook it up, and I'm sitting there just running it at like 3.5 RPMs for like 5 minutes. Finally gets his car started. Like, hell yeah, let's go. And then we start driving. So we're driving, and Ryan's following behind me just because, I'm more familiar with the drive and stuff, so it just made more sense for him to follow me, even though he had his GPS up anyways. And me, when I drive, I like to have fun. I'll be sitting there on the interstate, bobbing and weaving between cars, speeding up, slowing down, just driving, just making it interesting enough to where I stay alert, you know what I'm saying? But then I get that there's some people that like to just throw it on cruise control and just do exactly that. Just cruise, lean back and relax and just go straight. But I can't do that. So Ryan would be following me, and there would be nobody around, but I'd get in front of him going, I'm not going to incriminate myself, but going pretty fast, and him be right behind me, and then I'll just slow all the way down to like 50, and then he's sitting there looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? And then I just put the fucking pedal to the floor and go, or there'll be like an 18-wheeler between us, and then I'll just take off and then kind of slow down so we can come back and find me and not get lost and shit. So after doing that for a little bit, we stop a couple places, get some food, get some gas. Whole time around, made sure not to turn his car off so that we didn't have to go through that shit all again. And we get back to my hometown and wait for Ramsey to hit us up and say, yeah, let's do the bid or whatever and let's go. After like 3 hours of not hearing anything, though, we finally decide, okay, we're just gonna go to his house and see if he's there. So we get to his house and we see a car in the driveway. So we sit there and we call somebody, and they're like, oh yeah, he's here asleep. Just come on in. So we walk inside, and there he is, just laying on his bed asleep. And I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna wake him up. It's time to get slapped. So I wake him up, as you saw in the video, and give him the deal that I won't slap him as hard if he gets slapped with some whipped cream. He said, that sounds like a good idea. So we went to the store, got some whipped cream, made sure I got extra creamy, and got ready. Had to clear everything out as much as possible, filled my hand up with some whipped cream, and just slapped him upside the face. And I wish I could have got a little bit better camera angles, if I had a tripod or something, because it was just Ryan sitting there recording it. And he didn't do bad, it still looks good, but I just wish it could have been better, you know what I mean? But yeah, I slap him, and whipped cream still gets all over everything. It's all in his hood, it's all over inside of his shirt, it's fucking everywhere and hilarious. Well, then it comes time for me to get slapped, and I'm like, alright, let's go, I'm fucking ready. And then he starts doing some Jackie Chan shit and jumps up and almost kicks me in the face, and then comes over and just slaps me. And the second that he slapped me, I was like, you know what? It'll look a lot better if I just fall fucking down. So I do. He slaps me and I just hit the ground, and I was told that in person it doesn't look as good, but that's why I did it slow-mo like that, so maybe it would look a little bit more real. And hey, if you thought it was real and he slapped me to my fucking ass, well, then I guess that's good too. But yeah, then I finished that, said my goodbyes, and drove all the way back up another 4 hours with more or less nothing interesting happening. I just drove up, didn't make any stops, got home, edited. I can't, that's a weird word. It's a lot of da-da-da-da-da-da. Edited the whole thing, and now I'm talking about it. But, oh, what was next? I'm gonna have to pull the video up here and watch it as I talk to you about it. Actually, before I do that, I think this is a good spot for an ad. Okay, so the first thing after I get slapped, it's just 2 more slap bets with Tony and then Ramsey and Austin, collectively won. Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna explain it that much. But yeah, we was just sitting there and they both decided, hey, I want to slap him right now. And they did. And I told Tony, I said, I like watching you get slapped, so I'm sure everybody will. So let's just make a bunch of slap bets and just let me slap the piss out of you. But he didn't seem too keen on that idea. He was like, well, he said, he's so fucking stupid. He said, I'll be the next David Dobrik. And I said, oh, you're going to be the next David Dobrik by me slapping you in the face and putting it on my channel. He was like, yeah, bro, I'll be the next David Dobrik. And I was like, I don't think that's how that's going to work. But, whatever you want to say, Tony. Whatever you want to fucking say. And after that, it's just this little skit I do. I don't know. I just thought it was pretty funny. I just sat there, and my little brother had those little, what are they called? the non-permanent tattoos, you know what I mean? The fucking little, you get them wet and they stick to your face, whatever. So I grabbed one of those. It was the Avengers pack, so I just put the Avengers A on my face. And then I just made a little auto-tune video, just with a little tune that I put in my head immediately. And yeah, took all of about 15 seconds to make that and sent it to a couple people. I was like, is this funny? And they was like, eh. And that's really what I strive for, is just eh. So as long as that's the reaction, you know, I can live with that. Just eh. Why strive for perfection when we can just have eh? Um then there's a little clip of the New Year's night that I talked about in a previous podcast. I believe so. And yeah, I did. And that's the only reason I really put it in there, is just because I had talked about it and it was just a fun night for me. Then Ryan and I, at the point in time when we was living together, we saw this commercial on Hulu, and it was that one with the fucking Big Lebowski, and then I want to say it's Sofia Vergara, or however you say her name, but it could be completely off, and it could just be another woman. I don't know, but they was sitting there in this like bar room, and she said, "Oh, do you want this?" And he said, "No, I'll have a Stella Artois." And you know, Big Lebowski's got that real like distinct like country voice or whatever. So we just shot this in the apartment, and we sat there and watched it like 40 times and just died laughing. And that's what really this whole video is, just random stuff that either I made or somebody made, and we just thought it was funny, or, you know, cool at least. Same way with this next video. It's the one where I grab a butcher's knife and start shaving my face. I got a lot of questions asking like, are you okay? Like, not physically, like did you cut yourself, but like, are you emotionally okay? After, because I put this on my Snapchat story. And I just want to say, yes, I'm okay. And I used to work with knives every day for like 3 years. So I am, you know, pretty good with a knife. So don't worry about me, because I'm sure I'm going to be doing more like knife related sketches and stuff soon. So just because I do it don't mean that everybody should do it, because I know what I'm doing with them. So yeah, this next part, okay, so this is gonna require a little bit of background. Actually, not that much background. I can kind of sum it up pretty fast. Max had family who had a house in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to go stay there for the weekend?" It was for Max's birthday, yeah. So we went down there for his birthday, and they had this piano, and it sat there, and it was one of those that would play itself. And I was actually standing outside where the pool is, and I hear it start playing, so I start recording and come in, and Ryan's just sitting there doing that, and it just kind of worked out perfectly. Um, one of my one of my personal favorites, where we're sitting there and we're at this lake swimming at this spot that we're actually probably not supposed to be swimming at, and we're just sitting there drinking some beers and just jumping off the cliff, as you see later in the video where Max does like a flip off of it. So yeah, that's what we're doing, just sitting there swimming, having a good time. And I'm down there and I'm like, man, I need a beer. And you can't really tell how far that is in that clip, but that's probably like at least a good 20 feet or so down. And then I'm like good 10 feet or so out in the water. So the fact that was a pretty good throw and a pretty good catch all in all. And then you hear me, I'm just like, ha 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 ha. Oh, that's the video of the cat there. That is my kitten Robin that I've talked about plenty of times. So if you was ever wondering what she looked like, you can just look in the video and see her when she was a little baby, trapped in a hat. Um, Another video of Max doing a flip, because I had a lot of those, and the fact that you can do that just standing on the ground is pretty impressive. Oh, and I did a little bit of editing on this part, right? So the song that's playing in it is called Flex. That's by T Kane. He's one of my friends, really talented musician. So, if you like rap, or even, I'm not going to compare him to Post Malone because they're really different, but the way that he sings and stuff in his songs, talking about T Kane, it's just kind of similar to it. So if you like stuff that's actually got some meaning behind his words, and he's talking about some real shit, I suggest listening to it. But yeah, that was just the song Flex. He sent me a couple, and I just decided that this one worked the best. And you can see, oh, yep, there's the clip of, because I'm sitting here watching this as I'm recording, but there was the clip of the pool that I was standing in when I walked into the video. But the little editing I did, so when Tony's sitting there dancing and stuff, I was like, I bet it'd be funny if during the chorus I just had this play and, just had him dancing to it, have it sync up. So I tried that and then gave up on it after I just did what I did. Then another video I put up just because of the podcast. The job that I had talked about, it was my first job that I did have a lot of experience with knives at. There was a video of me when I was more or less in charge of the place, and one of the people that worked for me. And at this time I was like 18, 19, and so I grabbed this 3-pound tube of just ground beef and chucked it at him. And you can't really hear it just because of the way I put the music, but there was like a giant thud on that door. And Ryan doing some Fruit Ninja, just some pretty good cutting skills. Oh, the face that Ryan makes when he throws this knife, or not this knife, but this fucking lighter. Like, I remember when he sent that to me just regularly, and I was laughing for a good minute and a half. And that, it just, like, because I wasn't expecting it at all. And I mean, that's more or less the whole video. I go through and tell you to subscribe and whatnot and all that good stuff. So now I'm more or less going to do the same thing. If you did like it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you didn't like it, tell me, and I won't make any more stuff like that. Because it was fun doing a vlog type thing for what little bit I did it. But it's also a lot of work too, because as you can tell through the video, my hair just gets more and more fucking crazy. And more or less every video I put up, you can see that, just because that's the way my hair is. It's just a free spirit, and it does its own thing, and I just let it. But it was fun just recording stuff and then seeing it all come together. So if that's something that you want more of, then I'll do it. But me, myself, it's not really in my plans as far as things that I want to make. What I really want the channel to be, it's not going to be able to be that yet. So it's mostly going to be podcast stuff. And then whatever little skits I make, I might just do a little throw together of that. But it's not really going to be so much vlog style stuff, at least the way that it's been known now. But oh, another thing I want to talk about before I wrap this whole thing up: the weirdness that you can get in every Lyft or Uber driver is so amazing, because it always seems like they're either foreign and they're not so much weird as they just can't talk to you because of the language barrier, or they are just plain out weird. Like, we got in the car with this one guy, and he was nice and everything, but you could tell he was just lying. You know, he was just saying, "Oh, I've been to every state and every country, and I've seen everything there is to see in the world." And he just kept saying the same thing, like, "There's no heaven on earth, there's no heaven on earth." And I just kept on, like, whoa, yeah, like, that's the deepest thing I ever heard, man. Just to maybe try and get him to be quiet, but he never did. And, that's good and all that, small talk, whatever. But then you get the ones that are overly quiet. So then you sit there and you're checking their GPS where they're driving. And then you pull up your GPS, go into your location to make sure that they're not taking you somewhere that, you shouldn't be going or whatever. And that's me. I'm sitting there in the back seat just paranoid, like, okay, it was me and Ryan, and we are two 20-year-old males who are both over 6 foot and probably like 200 pounds. So we can take care of ourselves. Just imagine, I can't imagine being a 5'3" female who's like 120 soaking wet just going and riding with random people. Like, that must be terrifying. And I am sorry that you have to do that. Maybe when Elon Musk gets his Teslas that drive themselves, it'll be a little bit more safe or whatever. But at least you can get this a little bit more feeling safe, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know if I would rather have somebody that's completely quiet, like murdery quiet, or talking like they're fucking, what's her name? Mindy something. Mindy something from The Office. The, the one that just will never shut up. I can't think of her name right now. But yeah, that joke fucking landed. Good job. I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna wrap this one up here. And yeah, best of luck.